Salut les amis, bienvenue sur ma chaîne, j'espère que vous allez bien. Aujourd'hui on se retrouve pour ELEX II, gameplay sans faction, partie 17. On se retrouve après l'introduction, c'est parti, let's go. Donc lors de la dernière vidéo, si je me trompe pas, on a été parler au doyen Skyanid qui nous a appris pas mal de choses. Et en sortant du truc, en sortant du bastion des Skyand, Jax c'est... Enfin l'infection qu'avait Jax s'est propagée entièrement sans le transformer, sans le changer. Et là du coup il nous reste plus beaucoup de missions, que des missions principales, et il nous reste d'ailleurs la mission avec traîtrise, et du coup on va aller chercher Adams.
Let's get a summary of the tasks we have ahead of us.
Stand by.
It's about time we took... Last but not least, we need to get Cassandra.
Ok.
That's definitely gonna be...
Bon, d'accord. On n'a plus que ça à faire. Cassandra et tuer Adams. Ou plutôt...
Probability of human survival within critical range.
Alors, petit enfoiré.
I thought I'd never find you.
Jax, you're here. You came to save my life?
Pas vraiment, non.
Actually, I still don't know what I'm gonna do with you. Should I ram my gun down your throat now or after you explain things?
I see. I take it you've spoken to the Skyans.
Did you really think you'd keep your story secret forever?
No, but I hoped I'd get the chance to explain everything to you before the invaders did.
You've had plenty of chances. If things hadn't turned out this way, you probably would have taken the secret to your grave.
Maybe you're right, but perhaps we should get out of here before...
You're not going anywhere. Not until you tell me everything you've done. To me, to humanity.
Well, seems I don't have much choice.
Non, pas vraiment, non.
All right, let's talk about it if we must.
When did you find out about the comet heading for Magellan? Was it before or after you started planning to live forever?
The comet wasn't the beginning. I first sighted it 5 years before it crashed here. But even before that, years before, when I was still a young man, I observed a much more significant phenomenon in the sky.
The singularity.
All my research, all the observations, all the calculations, they all told me this was an incredible discovery. It was the answer to all the questions humanity had ever asked, and more.
Qu'est-ce qu'est la singularité, les amis? Une entité? Une planète? Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Then, years later, when the Infinite Skies Corporation was founded, I had my chance. Unlimited resources. Everything I needed. And still, I couldn't really comprehend what I was seeing. It seemed to turn all the laws of physics, all the laws of nature, on their head. The results of my research and the lessons I learned from the Singularity's behavior brought me fame and the recognition of my colleagues. But even when many of them tried to denounce me, I continued my research, though I soon reached the limits of what I could learn.
How did you create ELEX?
I didn't. It was there all along, in the Singularity itself. ELEX is a part of it. It just needed to be modified.
Un peu de mal à le croire là pour le coup.
I was getting old then, increasingly aware of my mortality. I realized I would never reap the rewards of my work if I didn't...
Find a way to live forever.
Yes. Even there, the Singularity helped me set the wheels in motion. But I couldn't do it down here on Magellan. I had to go up, to the Singularity itself. It was the only place with the right conditions. But the journey would have taken far too long. I needed a faster way. A technology you've seen for yourself. It's been a feature of the skies for years, ever since the war against the elves.
You mean the strange ring the hybrid created?
Correct. An artificial wormhole. A bridge from this world to another. I sent a group of scientists through it. They came back more than 160 years later as highly developed, immortal beings.
Why didn't you go yourself? Why leave it to others?
Because of the comet. This rock, this tremendous destructive force on a collision course with our world. I was afraid if I went with them, we'd return to a planet reduced to rubble and dust.
And that's exactly what happened. You didn't stop it. Whether you were here
Il l'a
or on the
peut-être
other
pas
side of
arrêté,
the
mais à mon
galaxy.
avis, il a dû la ralentir.
It wasn't a question of whether it would hit Magellan. The question was whether humanity would survive.
You could have saved the planet. You could have changed the comet's course with your spacecraft.
I tried. I was the one who started projects like Cassandra and Callahan.
Oh putain.
But when panic breaks out, well, few people are willing to pull together for a common cause.
How did the first ELEX get into the comet?
My Cassandra scientists had to hurry once they reached the Singularity. They quickly had their first success. They sent blue ELEX back to us on a carrier rocket. But soon after launch, it became clear it would never reach Magellan. A fatal miscalculation they could do nothing to correct. But the rocket could reach the comet that was fast approaching the planet. So they steered it onto its path. And soon, the ELEX was here, and my work...
Ok, d'accord, je comprends
Your
tout.
work to prolong your miserable life at the expense of millions of other lives.
Yes, a tragedy, I admit.
How did you manage to smuggle all those scientists aboard Cassandra without anyone realizing it?
At first, nobody knew anything about the comet or any spacecraft. Of course, once things were in the open, I was forced to share my research with everyone. Research that might save a lot of lives, maybe all of them. But Cassandra was to be my project. I kept it secret to make sure it didn't suffer the same fate as Callahan. All people did was argue, blaming mistakes on each other. I couldn't allow that to happen with Cassandra. So
you got rid of anyone who could have talked about it, right?
it was a dark
Oh
time,
là là.
not one I'm proud of.
Your scientists, or whatever they are now, spoke of the Singularity as if it were a god.
Là, on apprend vraiment toute
Isn't it?
l'histoire. Hein.
It contains secrets that no one, not even I, could ever discover. Not in 1,000 lifetimes of research. It gives eternal life. It creates new life forms from nothing. It decides whether we all live or die.
Principal Tayak says it's moving towards us. It could hit us at any moment. And from what you're telling me, this is nothing like a simple comet. This will destroy us all.
So what is it, if not pure divinity?
Stop fucking with me. How do we stop it, genius?
The Skyans have been set on their path from the very beginning. It's this plan that drives them. It's their reason for being. The reason anyone who gets in its way is destroyed.
Oh yeah? So what is this plan?
All in good time, Jax. We need to survive this war before we can move on to the next one.
Ah.
What about the DNA replication?
Donc si on suit bien le dialogue, normalement il devrait y avoir un troisième volet.
I've been trying to prepare
Normalement.
for the arrival of the Skyans for years. That's what the Albs and their directive were for. And for a while it was working. But once the Albs set up the first converter in the lands of the free people, the tide turned. The hybrid, that thing I was a part of once, sensed resistance among the Albs. There were a lot of skeptics and even saboteurs, especially among the technicians.
C'est pour ça qu'il a pris le contrôle des Albes pour mieux les diriger.
But there you were, a highly effective and confident commander. Even then, your willpower was a thing to behold.
Bon, enfin, Jax a toujours été un mouton. Hein. Il a toujours suivi les ordres et c'est tout.
To protect myself and my legacy. It was a backup, if you will. Being in the hybrid capsule prevented me from doing anything as mundane as procreating.
That explains your interest in my son. But you won't be going near him again. I'll make sure of that.
After the replication, your willpower became even stronger. You were the only one who could resist being promoted to Elexiter. Even implanting a control chip in your head had little effect. That's one reason I chose you to establish and lead the Sixth Power. If anyone can stop the Skyans, it's you.
Where does this great willpower come from? What did you do to me that even the Skyans don't understand?
The gifts to exercise great power over ELEX are rooted in the configuration and harmonies of an individual's DNA. And willpower is one of these gifts. There are others, such as superhuman creativity or imagination, or superhuman strategic and mathematical problem-solving. You and I are not just the humanoid anomalies the Skyans would have us believe. We are ELEX elementals.
Les élémentaires d'Elex.
Our gifts give us the power to shape both ourselves and the fate of the world.
Why the sixth power?
En gros, leur volonté à Jax et à Adams est tellement puissante que du coup, l'Elex noir ou l'Elex bleu ne peut pas prendre contrôle de leur personnalité, de leur caractère, de leur mental. Ils ont un mental tellement puissant que c'est eux qui contrôlent l'Elex et c'est pas l'inverse.
And so is everyone else, you bastard. You're nothing but a murderer.
Maybe, but the Skyanids are far worse. Just think of the sheer scale of what they're doing.
What about what we did in those converters? Squeezing the ELEX out of people.
What is it you want, Jax? Justice? World peace? What's that compared to standing before God and being granted eternal life?
Mais on n'a pas le droit d'avoir la vie éternelle. On n'a pas le droit.
Well, I'm done. The super soldier you bred to serve you quits right here and now.
On est des êtres vivants, on n'est pas des dieux.
Of course there is. It's the only way I'll ever be free.
Fine, if that's the way you want it. Just don't expect me to give up without a fight.
Ah.
If I win, I promise to honor your legacy. Your work will not have been in vain.
Enough talking. Let's end this now.
Alors,
as you wish.
On va le tuer? Oula! Bon, bah il est pas mort. Et depuis quand Jax il a des flammes qui lui sortent des mains, il est pas berserker?
Damn it. That son of a bitch. Doesn't matter. I need to keep going. Otherwise there'll be nothing left to fight for. Man. Wardek's actions are and always have been motivated by his fears of going cold turkey off ELEX. It's hard to believe if you'd seen him the way he was. The commander in charge of the Ice Palace.
Critical risk. Recommend immediate evasion. Stand by.
We've cleared all the obstacles that have stopped us from marching into Marikor. Now the Sixth Power can do what it was meant to do. I'll go through the plan of attack in Marikor with THQ. We'll free the territories from the invaders. But what then? We still haven't got a plan for how we're going to get the gateway open.
Probability that Cassandra will cooperate, 0%.
Génial.
Yeah, I know, little guy. Her machines aren't taking any half measures. Nobody can match up to their willpower.
Analyzing.
Also, I still don't know how we're supposed to get in. Let's take care of the other things first. I'll figure out the rest as we go.
Acknowledged.
Ouais, donc on a quand même pas mal de missions à faire encore. Ok, bon, bah du coup, alors, des terres étranges, les portes du formeur principal. Dex. Faut aller parler à Dex. Pourquoi faire? Ok. Eh ben on va aller voir Dex tout de suite les amis. Je sais pas pourquoi il faut qu'on aille le voir. Mais écoutez, pourquoi pas.
Father!
Dex, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you...
I have to tell you about the spirits. I heard their voice again.
What the... What are you talking about?
It was when I was in Tavar, near the former there. I could sense the strange presence.
D'accord.
Remember how I told you about it?
Yeah, I remember. You said there was something... But that was just...
Well, it's back. Only this time it's coming from somewhere else. I can hear them. It's like ghosts talking.
So,
Okay.
you hear voices. Okay. And what do you want me to do?
I have to go there. We have to go there.
Oh, all right. Can you tell me why at least?
I know this is gonna sound a little crazy, but...
I believe you. Just look at who your mother and father are. You were always going to be special.
Ça là-dessus, on peut pas dire le contraire.
So much crazy stuff has happened lately. There isn't much that can surprise me anymore. The thing is, I have a hell of a lot of stuff to do, Dex.
I know, but this is really important.
What do these voices say? What are they talking about?
It's always just fragments, never whole sentences, but they say things like analyzing, marching orders, troop movement, or sensor range, algorithm, or control unit.
Ça ressemble à ce que disait Cassandra,
Wait
ça.
a minute. Did you just say Control Unit 0? That's the identifier for Cassandra, the central computer of the main former in Marikor.
Yeah, it's just some stuff your drone keeps babbling.
Are you really saying you can hear the former central computers communicating with each other?
I'm not sure, but yes, it's some kind of communication. It's not just that though. I can hear where a voice comes from, even the direction it's speaking in. Like, the last few days, I kept hearing one of these voices coming from way up north. And it was speaking in the direction of one of the big formers in Ignadon.
I hate saying this because it could put you in danger, but this could actually help us.
Really?
If you can really eavesdrop on the data traffic, we might be able to learn some important secrets without anyone noticing. This could make all the difference in the war.
C'est peut-être son fils, l'anomalie, le prototype. Je viens de penser à un truc. c'est peut-être pas forcément Hawkins le prototype. Hawkins serait la première anomalie humaine, Jax la deuxième, et Dex le prototype.
So you're saying Cassandra's trying to contact Alfara? Well, that's what it sounds like, at least.
Maybe.
I already turned that piece of crap off. If Cassandra is really trying to contact Alfara, it won't be able to answer. So what do you have in mind?
I don't really want to go all the way north, but I want to take a look at the former that this voice was trying to reach. I feel like I'll understand them better then. Oh, yeah. Before I forget, I have something for you. The clerics have some really cool stuff. They should be doing a lot more with it.
Yeah, sometimes I think about that too.
Here, this is for you. I managed to swipe it from them. I bet you can use it.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So, you want to go to the Alfara former. Alright, it's risky, but I'll take you. If you can tap into Cassandra's AI, it could really help us.
Great, let's go then.
But you do what I tell you, and you do nothing until you've asked me first. Understood?
Yes. So when do we start? I can't wait.
Why don't you and Asker go on ahead to the region near Alfara and wait for me there?
Thank you, Father. I'm sure the risk will be worth it.
I hope so.
See you later.
Eh ben, les amis...
My son is on his way to the Alfara former. Time for some additional preparations. I could talk to Thialg about our plan of attack in Marikor first. But I should hurry. I can't leave Dex alone too
On va se
long.
téléporter au camp directement. Tac. On va prendre Kaja avec nous. On va faire le plein de munitions aussi. Parce que on en a vraiment besoin là pour le coup. Kaja, Kaja, Kaja. Kaja, viens avec moi.
Not now. Don't you realize we're at war? As long as the battle for Marikor continues, I have work to do.
Quoi?
Come on! Don't you have better things to do than just stand?
Merde. Donc le seul allié qu'on peut prendre avec nous... Merde. Le seul allié qu'on peut avoir avec nous à ce stade du jeu, c'est Crony. Il n'y en a pas d'autres. On peut pas avoir les autres. C'est dommage. C'est vraiment con, j'ai envie de vous dire. Bon, on va aller faire le plein. Bon, j'ai suffisamment de... Et merde. J'ai acheté un truc que je voulais pas du tout, les amis. Du coup, vous remontez. Vous allez jusqu'à la liste. Tac. Et vous regardez ce que vous ne voulez pas vendre. « 24 rossignols, mais j'ai pas de... J'en ai pas besoin de 24, hein. Alors... Bon. Tac.
To all communities and lone warriors.
Alors, on va aller dans notre
Greetings from the
inventaire.
heart of Magalon. Remember what ELEX can do. Remember, What it can turn us
That'll
into.
be useful.
It's better to stick to the reliable advantage of technology. Now time for a little music. This is Herbert.
Donc
from
ça
New York.
c'est ok. Alors on va parler à Tialg. Et on va aller retrouver notre fiston. Ah merde. Ah, Tialg il est... ouais, c'est vrai qu'il a changé de... Il a changé d'endroit, Tialg. Bon, il est où cet abruti là?
You recruited your father? Was no one else available?
He's a good commander and strategist. We should give him a chance. But keep an eye on him, too. He's already stabbed me in the back once.
I'll be vigilant.
Il est pas des moindres, hein, le couteau, hein. Il a voulu le tuer carrément.
This is it. Let's gather the forces of the Sixth Power and march into Marikor.
Yes. Now is the time. I've received reports of Skyan troops moving into Marikor. A principal and his combat troop are waiting in the center of Marikor on the command of the main former. Another is located in the corporate ruins to the west of this territory. There's also a group of Skyans in one of the Skyanid-infested sectors on the front line in Marikor. Reportedly, there's a second group directly behind them, in the uninhabitable sector. Of course, they're at the entrance to the pass that leads to the land of Marikor. All factions are about to invade our territories with their primary forces. If we don't deal with this now, it may already be too late.
So what's your plan?
Our military forces will take care of the Skyan curators and agitators. You and your comrades can help best by taking care of their leader. Then destroy everything that's left.
So let's go.
We're ready to march immediately.
Very good. Let's end this invasion as quickly as we can.
Move out.
Eh ben on est dans la merde. Hein. On est à l'affrontement final, les amis. Hein. Oh la vache. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on fait? On s'occupe des affrontements avant ou on s'occupe de Dex en priorité? J'ai vraiment envie d'aller m'occuper du plan de Dex en priorité, quoi. Toi, je sais pas comment t'es rentré, toi. Vous inquiétez pas, je parlais à une mouche. Ok. Bon, écoutez, on va se diriger directement voir Dex, hein, parce que Ah ouais, ils sont partis là-bas, eux. On va aller voir Dex et on s'occupera des affrontements après, les amis. Parce que si Dex peut trouver le moyen pour ouvrir l'accès au formeur principal, autant y aller.
Father! There you are! It's just like I said, that ghostly voice from Maricor is already much louder out here.
Can you understand Cassandra better now?
Yeah, but only like 1 word in 5. It would probably be better if we were directly in the path of the voice.
Okay. Guess that means we have to actually go inside. Formers are not the nicest places to visit. So you make sure you stay close at all times.
Okay.
And no point wasting any more time. Let's get in and out as fast as we can.
I'll stick to you like a leech.
Ok, c'est parti, Dex.
I can't work out exactly where Cassandra's voice is directed, but I'll keep trying.
Ça m'étonnerait que Dex a des armes. Ah bon, on n'est pas à l'abri. On n'est pas à l'abri d'une surprise avec lui là. Allez, hop. On monte en niveau, les amis. Oh là, oh là, oh là, oh là, oh là.
We should take a look around Alfara first. I'll know when we get to the best spot.
Ouais, mais là, on va pas pouvoir y aller là-bas, c'est pas possible. Que je suis con, putain. La flèche, elle est dans le sous-sol. Elle est dans le bastion. Elle est pas en dehors du bastion. Ouais, ouais, t'inquiète pas, fiston, tu vas comprendre. Allez, hop, on rentre dans le bastion, les amis. Bonjour. Fais dodo, toi.
I'm not so sure. Could also be a research cell. Hurry! Before the voice goes quiet again!
Dex n'a pas d'arme, hein. C'est confirmé. Je viens de le voir à l'instant. Il a pas d'arme. Il ne se bat pas. Alors attendez, parce que apparemment ça serait là.
Here it is. This is where Cassandra's voice is aimed at.
So, she's still doing it.
She hasn't stopped the whole time. She really wants to get at something. Oh, it's that capsule over there.
This thing looks a lot like the capsule Dawkins was stuck in when he was the hybrid.
D'accord.
Cassandra keeps trying to get the capsule's controls, but something's stopping her.
Is that old world technology?
I don't know, but it's some kind of blind spot for Cassandra. Whatever she wants to do with it, she can't control it. And it's connected to the central computer cell. That's like a direct line to the synapses of the former.
This thing here. Could we use it to eavesdrop on Cassandra without her noticing?
More than that, I bet you can get direct access to her identity. If we're lucky, it might even give us access to her control algorithms.
La vache.
But I'd have to climb inside.
Il est super intelligent le mot, mais.
And what if you're wrong?
I wasn't playing with toys while you were away, Father.
Oh.
It's not the first time I messed around with these things. The clerics had lots of this stuff lying around. I learned to use it while I was there. I mean, that's what I was supposed to do, right? That's why you sent me to them in the first place.
Pas du tout.
You're really something special. I know that, but...
Trust me, I know what I'm doing.
If Cassandra can't control that capsule, why doesn't she just destroy it?
An AI can use a capsule like this to connect a human being to its own synapses. She wouldn't throw out something like that just because it didn't work properly. She'll want to fix it. I think that's what Cassandra's been trying to do all along.
You want to go inside that thing? No way am I letting you do that.
But think about it. If I'm right, we could solve all our problems at once.
You're too important to risk on some crazy experiment.
Oh, puis Kaja, quand elle va savoir ça, elle va pas être contente, hein.
Some way of helping you. And now finally I can. And you're not going to let me?
It's just too...
Too dangerous? That's what you always say. But we can't waste this chance.
Il a pas tort le
Why
môme,
does it
hein.
have to be you? Let's get someone else to do it.
No one else can hear Cassandra's voice. I'm the only one.
Damn it, Dex.
You know I'm right. I have to get into the capsule so we can use it to attack the AI in the main former.
I'm not going to talk you out of this, am I?
Let me try, please.
Okay, let's do it.
I won't let you down. If this works like I think it will, I'll set up a channel with your drone. So if you want to talk to me, you'll have to use Crony, okay?
Hurry, before I change my mind.
J'en ai la certitude, je suis sûr et certain que Dex c'est le prototype dont Cassandra parle. C'est pas Dawkins.
First Callahan, now the remaining computing units in Magellan. A silent but effective attack on our systems. A diabolical plan by an emotionless machine. Cassandra almost got away with it.
I'll take better care in the future.
T'as intérêt à le protéger de ta vie, mon bonhomme. Bon les amis, on va se quitter comme ça pour aujourd'hui. La prochaine vidéo, on s'occupera de tous les affrontements qu'il y a à faire. N'hésitez pas à liker, à commenter, à partager le lien de la chaîne, à vous abonner pour ceux que c'est pas encore fait, c'est super important. Je vous fais d'énormes bisous, je vous dis à très bientôt. Salut les amis, prenez soin de vous.